What's happening, everybody? This is Hayden Adams with Hayden.co. In this video, we're going to take a look at moving our transactions. We have one right here I made a few days ago to myself, made a donation amount. And what I want to do is I want to track all of my payments and my transactions that I get from Stripe into Google Docs, because right now it's kind of hard to see if we do this in a longer format. There's not like a lot of sorting tools. There's just a way to edit the columns and look at currencies and other things like that. So it's not very easy in Stripe. It's a lot easier if we had it all in a working spreadsheet via Google Sheets. So what I want to do is I'm going to bring a third-party tool in to make all the magic happens. I'm going to use Zapier. So I'm going to head over to Zapier.com. And Zapier is like one of the most amazing tools out there. By default, there is a free level. So if you don't have a lot of automations, what Zapier does, it allows us to talk between two competing organizations. It allows us to talk between two companies online, like a Babelfish or a translator. Stripe works in Stripe, and Google Docs works in Google Docs. Zapier is the translation tool that moves everything around. If you have just a simple 100 tasks, like just a simple, maybe a few switches here and there per month, the free plan works great. If you've got more, it just starts at just $20 a month, and it's just a fantastic tool. So let me log in and set up these two so we can show how it reports back and forth. What I'll do is log in, and in Zapier, I'm going to come up to the top left and hit the create button. I'm going to create a Zap. And in here, we can set our triggers and our actions. So in our trigger, what we're going to do is connect Stripe. So Stripe, we go right here. And in Stripe, I'm going to trigger something. So what's going to happen when someone actually does something in Stripe? Well, essentially, it's a charge or a checkout, essentially. So we're looking for a new payment is completed. So once someone paid me through Stripe, I'm going to connect my account. And after going through a few windows, I successfully connected my Stripe account to Zapier to go forward. Once I've gone through the first step, I'm going to hit continue. And I am actually not using test mode. So using test mode is not a setup. Allow test mode. No test mode. We're going live. And let's test this and make sure it triggers the right account. So I'm going to test this, and after a few seconds, come on. So it shows one record, and it really only have one record. So if we come back to Stripe, we see I only have one record here, and I can look inside of Zapier and see, is this the right record? Well, I paid $5, so $5 is what it is, and it probably has my name somewhere, it has my email address, and me, Hayden Adams. So basically, this is the right record I want to pull into Google Docs. So I'm going to continue with the selected record, and let's look for Google Sheets. Now, I do say Google Docs a lot. To me, that's just my general term for Google Drive. That's just how I've done it before and said it before, but we're looking for the spreadsheet function, which is Google Sheets. The action is I want to create multiple spreadsheet rows, create one or more rows in a specific spreadsheet. So in here, I'm going to select that option. My account's going to be me. Now I'm going to say continue. So the drive is the drive we're working with. I have my Google Drive. And the spreadsheet, this is really great about this tool. If you just created the spreadsheet, it'll come up on top. It assumes you're pretty much looking for that version, which is my order form. And just like magic, it shows up. Now, the worksheet is down below where I have it just called Sheet 1. You can name it to whatever also you want to name it. In this case, worksheet, I'll say Sheet 1. And like, this is just so cool. Zapier, you think of everything. I have my 4 entries, date, email address, name, and amount, which corresponds to date, email address, name, and amount. So in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the date. So I'll click in here and I will find the date or the date formatted, the create formatted, which you can also search for if you have a specific date you want to use. In here, you can go, well, I'm looking for something else if I have a future date. But since it was created on this date, the 1st of March, I cannot talk all of a sudden on this piece. Now, to me, this is a really complicated date. I'm going, yeah, I like it, but I want this to be formatted in a much better way because this is written in a very just funky way of reading it. Well, here's the cool part. Zapier gives you formatting options. So I'm going to add a step right between these two. And I'm going to say, you know what? Let's grab the formatter option. And the formatter option works with dates and times. So if I say continue, if I want to transform this, I want to format this date. So in the format tab, the input is going to be that created formatted date. Now to me, that's really hard to read. So it's going to go from, and I want to create a format. So I can choose a whole bunch of options that I want to use to format my dates. So if we use this format, I'm just going to write it very simply so we can even show it easier. In the continue, if I test this step, what's going to happen is it's going to format that long string of information to just say March 1st. Perfect. Now I can continue. And now when I come down to this Google Sheets, when I come back to my configure option, I can change this option not from this number 1 option, but I now get number 2, and I can say the output is going to be this format. So what Zapier does, it's going to take the data, format it, and then drop it in my sheet so I can read it in a much cleaner way. Email address we're going to find. Now, don't forget, do not type the email address in. Make sure you select which field that you're working with. My customer email is me, which is fine. My name is going to be me. So I'm going to come back to that payment, look for my name. And the amount, which we're going to click on, of course, is just looking for that $5 amount. And there we go. I've got my 4 fields all set to go. When I click on continue, I am going to test the step. And we should see if it shot everything out correctly, is that on my Google Sheet, there it is. I've got my date. And of course, you could format the dates if you want to down the road. I'm keeping it this way for maximum readability on my YouTube video. I have my email address, I have my name, and I have my amount. So we've taken our data from Stripe, used Zapier to format it, and dropped it right into Google Sheets for maximum readability.